What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got a quick Destiny 2 news update, and this comes alongside the first Twab inside of the launch of Season of the Deep. So these Twabs early on in the season do tend to be a bit of a mixed bag. We don't have absolutely massive news right here today, but there are some important dates for the content launches that we'll see in Season 21, including events like Iron Banner, Grandmasters, and Solstice. So we'll talk about those, and Bungie also cover some of the reveals that they've had this week. We do get extra insights about Marathon, so there's a couple of bits to mention there. Also, Bungie break down some important known issues that they're investigating for Season of the Deep. And there are a couple of other things which we'll mention from the blog post today. So, as always guys, I hope the video is useful, and if it is, a rating below really does help us out. But without further delay, let's get into it. Firstly today, a couple of updates from Bungie which are worth keeping in mind at the launch of the season this week. And so, Bungie Help have initially said, we're aware of reports that exotic armor focusing is dropping with lower stats than intended, and we're currently investigating. And a lot of people have discussed disappointing stats when focusing exotic engrams. So according to Bungie, that's not intentional, and it's something that they're going to be looking into fixing. On top of that, they've said, we're investigating an issue where players are blocked from completing the Season 21 Into the Depths intro quest, and players who don't auto-launch into the Descent mission must complete Lightfall's intro mission first, otherwise they'll be blocked from completion. And I believe the Lightfall intro mission is technically available for all players, regardless of Lightfall ownership, so probably not affecting many of us right here, but just something else worth keeping in mind. Moving on though, of course, in the Twab, they do speak about the reveals that we've seen this week, not least the Final Shape teaser trailer, and they highlight once again that Nathan Fillion will be returning and reprising his role as Cade 6 in the Destiny universe. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out, and they say get that ramen ready and mark your calendars for August 22nd, because that's the date of our annual Destiny 2 showcase, and there, they plan to reveal even more details about the year of the Final Shape. And of course that also means August 22nd will be the final day of Season of the Deep, and not only will we get the Final Shape reveal then, but we'll have the launch of Season 22. So that will certainly be a busy day. But regarding content for Season 21, they say whether you're only sticking around in this section for a new dungeon date reminder, or planning to start that Grandmaster crawl, here are a few dates you should keep in mind for the new season. So, firstly, new dungeon hype, and the new dungeon Ghosts of the Deep will arrive tomorrow. Pretty spooky title right there. Of course, it will drop at 10 AM Pacific on May 26th. That is the daily reset time, so the same time that Xur shows up. And they say to access the dungeon, players will need to own the Lightfall dungeon key and acquire the associated quest from Hawthorne prior to launching into the dungeon for the first time. So keep that dungeon key in mind and be sure to visit Hawthorne before diving into the new activity. Obviously there will be a quest. But additionally, Season 21 Trials of Osiris also goes live tomorrow. So it'll be a busy weekend with the return of Trials and a new dungeon. And that kind of flows into next week as well. And the first Iron Banner of the season starts on May 30th, which is next Tuesday. But following that, Grandmasters will start early on June 13th. And finally, Solstice brings its sunny celebration on July 18th. So especially this first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, it's going to be a pretty busy one. And Bungie are dropping a lot of the ritual activities fairly early on this time. I will, as always, keep you posted with all of that content right here on the channel. Otherwise, in the Twab, there is a known issues section, and they point out once again the electric armor and amped up artifact mod names are switched. But also they identify that the Until Its Return shotgun's glare is disconnected from the weapon, and that the Dark Decider auto rifle does not have firing audio. Then previous season ranks greater than 100 are displaying incorrectly in the Journey tab. They point out that some subtitles are missing during the opening cinematic for Season of the Deep. And when equipping a sidearm or hand cannon, the player's view will shift slightly to the left. Plus there's an issue where the portal in the helm doesn't open for players during the intro quest for Season of the Deep. There's a bug also where players can experience frame rate drops when opening the Eververse store pages, and that the Season 19 clan staff has the incorrect title. Plus, the known issues tab also highlights the exotic armor focusing with low stat rolls, and players being blocked from completing the Season 21 intro quest. So those are the main sections from the Twab, but I'll link the blog post down below if you want to check out some of the trailers from the reveals this week, and a couple of the other items in that thread. Finally today though, following all of the coverage over the past few days and Bungie's announcement of Marathon, Bungie Help jumped in for a little bit of clarification about a few items related to that new game. So to answer some questions, what platforms will Marathon be available on? They confirm it is PS5, Xbox Series X and S, as well as PC. Then in terms of whether this is a remake or a sequel to the original Marathon trilogy, they say the game takes place in the same world as the original Marathon trilogy, but is not a remake or direct sequel. So it's in the Marathon universe, but doesn't necessarily immediately connect to existing Marathon titles from back in the day. They also say, in terms of when we can play Marathon, it's currently in development and no release date has been set for the game, but we can stay informed with the latest news by following the official Marathon social accounts at Marathon the Game, or to join the mailing list, and that can be done via the game's new website. Very interesting that we got that reveal this week, and let us know what you guys think about it down below. For today, that sums up what we're going to speak about in this news video though, so as always, I hope it's been an interesting one. I'm going to leave you guys with a section from the new Marathon Vidoc. Gives a few more insights into how Bungie are approaching this, a better look at some concepts, and some other cool stuff associated with the game, so you can check that out momentarily. But if you've enjoyed the video today, guys, a rating really does help us out down below. Also be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel so I can keep you posted with more content. But otherwise, I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.
The art style of Marathon is graphic realism. Bold, colorful, stylized art.
It's vibrant, it's beautiful, but also mysterious. It's familiar, but also strange. We're really trying to find the right mix of beauty and mystery.
When I jump into the game, I'm just like running for my life, but at the same time, I'll be like, oh, this bush is so beautiful. Oh, look at that building, oh my.
Because we're targeting this like very bold style, it's a balancing act to figure out where do we dial it to 11, where do we dial it back to 6, and which objects and which elements of the world do we really want to highlight. It's something fresh and sort of uncharted territory.
With Marathon, Bungie is very clearly focusing on PvP, and so from the ground up, the integrity of the experience has been absolutely critical. And it was non-negotiable that Bungie was going to be investing in dedicated servers for Marathon, disconnect recovery, and fog of war. Like, without those elements, none of this matters.
So we actually have a dedicated team in charge of security and making sure the game is as fair as possible.
Marathon's going to be releasing on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, and it's going to have full cross-save and cross-play.
We are marching towards our alpha, which is really exciting.
We wish we could show you all the cool stuff that we're working on right now, but we can't do it just yet.
After this announcement, we are going to go dark for a while, for an extended period, while we focus on developing and playtesting the game.
Oh, I got one down, one down.
Next time you hear from us, we're going to be much closer to release, and we will be ready to reveal gameplay.
You're being thwarted all the time, and you've got to adapt. At the core, it's what it means to be human.
I was just going to say you shoot people and take their stuff. That was way better than I was going to do.